Hi guys, Dandelion here. Welcome back for part 3 of the Pope visit, where we're going to break down all the well, maybe not all the symbolism. We're going to try to keep it short, but some of the top symbolism of each of these places. I'll show you them on the maps. I'll show you the gematria that I have found. It's kind of a light scoop because I could spend an hour on each one of these. So I'm going to try to give you small bits so that you understand what's going on which day, and possibly a peek behind the curtain at why. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and there's a lot of videos to check out. There's a lot of background. I wanted to show you Scott's work having to do with the Ellipse Park because it has sacred measurement. This measurement it's called a megalithic yard. So just as quickly as I can, there is actually maybe what I'm going to have you do is come in. I don't know if I should split. I was kind of amazed when I finally figured out what they're talking about with this megalithic yard. Hold on. So this is based on a book called Before the Pyramids, written by Christopher Knight and Alan Butler, as far as I know, and they have discovered that the width of Ellipse Park in front of Washington, D.C. is 366 megalithic yards, a unit the authors have described at length in several of their previous books. Basically, it measures 82.966 centimeters, but this distance of a megalithic yard is shown in another post to be back engineered from relationships, from sacred natural relationships. So it's basically like an undiscovered constant. It's a constant that is that most people don't know about, and these guys prove that this constant is at play in the creation of Ellipse Park. So to create another measuring yard, Scott says he's going to call the distance of 366 megalithic yards an ellipse for convenience. Knight and Butler have discovered that many of the significant points in Washington, D.C. are located in units of whole ellipses. So this is a measurement unit from the center of Ellipse Park to the center of the Capitol Dome. A triangle was drawn from the center of Ellipse Park to the center of the Capitol Dome to the center of the Pentagon, and back to Ellipse Park measures exactly 33 ellipses. We know how they like their number 33. The Pentagon was placed where it is by FDR, who himself was the 32nd president and a 32nd degree Freemason. All right, well, I think there's another post that goes into the megalithic yard, and I have the notes here, so I'm going to read from my notes, but it is on Scott's website, and it's based in a day being 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds. The mean solar day is 24 hours, and the discrepancy between these two is 236 seconds, which add over a year to 24 hours. So 236 seconds is a very interesting number. I don't want to stop there, though, but here's one of the things that caught my eye. This is why I bring it to you, is that the ellipse part of the White House is 366 megalithic yards, which I'll explain to you hopefully in a minute, and that equals Stonehenge circumference. Now this means that this is the diameter and Stonehenge is the circumference, and so this is part of their worship of pi, as you can see. This is a pi relationship, and it's also if you imagine just the relationship, if you just think about the diameter and the circumference, that is the symbol of phi. And I've talked a lot about phi 618, 816, having to do with the Georgia Guidestones and many other things, symbolizing the bride of Christ and the sacrifice of the bride of Christ as one of the main ideas of many of these recent false flags that we have seen. Has been an idea that hypnotically and subliminally, on a frequency and gematria level, hypnotically programs people to accept the death of the bride of Christ, which would be the people, basically, before the wedding feast. I know that sounds really weird, but I have looked at this. They are using these symbolism. Basically, the bride of Christ is based on phi, and it is backwards, and I have a bunch of videos on that. So if you're new to my channel, I know there's a little catch up to do, and I know that it goes a little fast because right now we're just skimming off the top, and I've talked all these things through, so it might be a little much right at first. So a megalithic yard is 2.722 feet plus or minus 0.002 feet, and an astronomical megalithic yard, which is short for an AMI, is 36 divided by 7 times 0.5 28, which is another sacred number, and this is a repeating number. It's 2.715428, and that repeats. So that's the astronomical megalithic yard. There are 5,280 feet in a mile. So before I lose you, I wanted to explain to you that the E, there's a constant that has to do with the relationship of phi to pi, and I can't, oh, maybe I can draw. So even if you're not interested in numbers, I think I'm going to be able to give you the idea of what's going on here, at least for you to realize what they have planned and what this means when the Pope goes around. So phi, which is one of their major, this is why Philadelphia has phi in it twice, which is a phi squared, and I've talked a lot about phi squared. There's a lot of interesting things about phi squared. But anyway, phi over pi equals a constant called E over 5.28. And this is also another sacred number, has to do with sonic geometry, and they use it for a lot of their distances, and many of their astronomical distances. Well, anyway, E is actually a close approximation of a megalithic yard. An E is 2.718. I'm sorry about my writing. 2.71828. Now I've talked to you about the meaning of the 28. This is the diameter of time. We've talked about this in the last two parts. This is a 9, and this 27 is also a 9, and this is why they have the 9s in their names, because they think of this as perfection. And they also think of pi and phi as perfection. So this number is also very important, we can tell. But not only that, 927 is the birthday of the Jesuit order, and 928 is the feast of tabernacles and the blood moon. So I think I got your attention now. This is why they're doing this. I don't know which direction they're going to go. I'm going to say, I don't know. I'm going to say maybe not counterclockwise, because the Jesuits are very Marduk Gras oriented. Marduk Gras started the Vatican. Long story. But anyway, his planet, Marduk Gras, his planet comes into our solar system in a, now I wrote it wrong. According to NASA, all of our planets circle counterclockwise, and then Marduk Gras' planet comes in a clockwise, and this is why they call it the planet of the crossing, because it crosses this way. So I'm going to say these guys are going to go around this clockwise, and that is to celebrate, that's to honor Marduk Gras. Every time you say Amen in church, you honor Marduk Gras, the hidden one, the Amun Ra. Amen means hidden. So in the idea of our one world religion known as money, our economy is a one world religion. When you participate in this, you are unknowingly participating in dark ritual. So you can go ahead and participate in money, but you just need to consciously say, I don't agree to any of these hidden rituals that you have designed for me when I use money. But just this number, 2.7182, and then it repeats 1828, then it repeats 1828. This number has to do with continually compounding interest. So I just want to show you that they're tying their sacred numbers into money. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg. So my final point about this is that the megalithic unit, the astronomical megalithic unit, is a 2.7154. Go ahead and look at these numbers, because they're going to pop up in different places. 5428. And this isn't very far off of this number. I'll draw this to show you that part's repeating, and I'll draw this to show you that part's repeating. So I just want to break this down for you. We have a 928 right here. We have a 927. See that over here? This is the 1, and it's in the center. I think that's actually a symbolic 1, but it does play into this 6 right here, which makes a 76. And then also, and they do as a human being, when you're first looking at these numbers, because you weren't taught in this way, they taught you in a different way. They actually taught you math in a way that's going to pre-program you to think that this way of looking at numbers is crazy. But think about who taught you. Think about who taught you. So if this is unfamiliar to you, think about who taught you before you think that somebody who's teaching you the right way is teaching you the crazy way. This is how they see things. So I just want to show you that this is an overlay of a 9 right here. I'm sorry that if you can't, you might have to lean close to see because I'm writing in white, and a 6. And a 9 and a 6 is an anagram of a 915 for one thing, coming up 2 days away. But I have talked a lot about the 816 number of Dillon Stormroof, Georgia Guidestones, and the Hoover Dam skeletons, and 1.6. So the 816, this is the Bride of Christ number. The 816 number, whoops, the 1.618 number this is Phi. I believe this is kind of their destiny number. And then I'm going to go ahead and, because I think I'm going to have some new viewers on this, so I'm going to go ahead and try to simplify, try to quickly go over this, but I have some more videos that are in depth. So this is a Bride of Christ number, and it is a match to this number. Now I know you've been taught to think that that is crazy, and I'm just making stuff up, but think about who taught you. Now I'm teaching you. I don't want anything from you. I just want you to know what you deserve to know. Okay, so this Bride of Christ number is the 618 backward. Now, what I have noticed from my study of pi and phi is it looks like they are counting down on these numbers, counting from the very, like, say, the 1000th digit back to the whole numbers. So when we start seeing this number like this means that they think that we are either at the end of a cycle. You know, I know that they wrote the book of Revelation, so they are creating their self-fulfilling prophecy, and they're like saying, look, prophecy is fulfilled, and all the humans bow down and, you know, kiss the rings and then go to work and come home and eat a Twinkie. But they wrote the prophecy, so we should not be overawed like a bunch of pygmies when they fulfill the prophecy. Come on, people, snap out of it. So they are writing the prophecy, they are fulfilling the prophecy, and the prophecy seems to also be encoded in these numbers as we count from the far digits back to the whole numbers. Really, really quick. Oh, I don't know. Oh, 12 minutes. We're doing good. Okay, so pi is encoded in gematria in a few ways. By the spelling of this, by the spelling of Hawaii, where Obama was born, because this is a Greek P. This equals 25. So whenever you see a 25, basically you can pretty much count on they are referring to pi there. Pi is 3.14 on and on, 15. I'm trying to memorize the first 50 digits at least to that. And this adds up to 17. Now 17 is another number for pi. So when you see that, you can think that this is another number for pi. When you say hi to someone, you're actually wishing them either an enjoyable part of their cycle of pi. Some kind of you're wishing them an enjoyable circumference, something like that. Hello is not a nice thing. You shouldn't say that to anybody. Well, according to the gematria. So 17 equals Q. Q is the power symbol. I'll draw it right here. Q is the power symbol. This phallus right here is being either pulled out or pushed in. This is a conception moment. Hey, look, guess what? We have a conception moment right over here. And we have gestation symbolism in the day and the number of the day, 266. Anyway, this I am getting to a point that you're going to like, so just hang on with me here. You're going to think this is cool if this is your first video with me. So Q is the 17th letter. In phi, we look up here, look at phi. Sorry that it's not so visible, but look, it's a 16 and an 18. Look what's missing right here. What's missing is the 17. This has to do with their religion of numbers. They believe that pi interrupts phi. And this is the act of the individual. This has to do with a lot of their, you know, magical and symbolic stuff that they do. So they believe that, I think they see this, I'm just figuring this out. No one gave me a book. No one taught me this in school. I'm just figuring this out on my own, and I'm going to make mistakes as we go, and I'm okay with that because I'm innocently and honestly doing this. So I'm okay with mistakes, and I will correct them as I find them. But Phi, I believe they see this as the destiny number or the fate number, and this is the power of the individual number that interrupts Phi. So this is the interplay. And this is the symbolism of walking around Ellipse Park. And now I want to show you that Ellipse Park is very close to the center of this cross. Let's look at it this way. And I've gone over this a little bit, but so this is going to be a review for some of my loves. Hang in there, guys. How are you doing? Thanks for watching. We got to bring some new people in, and keep them interested and show them what we've learned. So over here is Jefferson Memorial, and this heading right here going left to right and right to left is a 360 degree heading. So right there you have the vector mathematics of 9. We have the all and the nothing. You have the 0 and the full circle. Do you see the symbolism? So he's walking around this point. It's almost like it reminds me of the Kaaba type of idea where he's going to circumambulate this. So I'm going to pause it and get a distance real quick. Okay, so the quick distance from the middle of this, I don't know if I did it perfectly, and also what you have to do when you're in Google Earth, you do this and then you have to kind of look in your other this is a 436 anagram. Anyway, I don't want to waste your time, but you have to look around here to find all the sacred numbers. But 0.31 is a pretty good number, and I also want to point out that the distance going that way is 180, which is a 9. So 360 reduces to a 9, 180 reduces to a 9. Everything having to do with the circle basically reduces to a 9. So the 0.31 is a dome reference. The digital root is a 4, which is a D, which is a reference to the dome. That might be kind of steep if you're a first-time listener. So let's go to the inches. We have 19,727.26 inches. And so I just wanted to show you that this has to do with the Jesuits because, like I told you, the birthday of the Jesuit is a 9/27. And also, the interesting thing about the 9/27 is that right here, the 727, this is why they have, 727s play a big role. The airplanes do. But it's a 9 mirror going each way. And it's also combines to a 18, which has a lot of symbolism in terms of the alphabet. I want to keep this kind of short, so I'm not going to go all the way to that, but it's basically shorthand for 108, which is the spiritual number. All right, so a quick look. If you take the center of this ellipse, which I showed you the sacred nature of this, I showed you just the tip of the iceberg of all of the groundwork, no pun intended, that they have done to lay the symbolism of this event. So the center of that to the Washington Monument, which is our conception phallus thing. The Pope is the birth kind of idea. This is the conception. So we're full circle, literally, or full ellipse, depending on how you see it. This is the reason why it's an ellipse is because it's an egg. This is the breastplate of Isis. So you can see her little breast bump right here. I mean, they left no details out. Here we have a fish. If this is your first time with me, I know this is going fast. Okay, well, anyway, from here to here is a heading of 166.79, which is another 16 on that end. And I don't count these last numbers, but because it's such a short distance center to center, I'm going to go ahead and count that. And then the 545 is a 99, again, just in the same manner that I just showed you with the 927, and that is in yards. So they see that as the 99. They see as a completion. It's like the 9th level of heaven. It's freedom. If this is my first video with you, F is a 6. R is an 18, which reduces to a 9. So that is moving from the 6th dimension to the 9th dimension. It has to do with Gilgamesh, because in the time of Gilgamesh we were in the 6th dimension. Now we're not in the 6th dimension anymore, we're in the 3rd, but they still use the same symbolism. So 9/9 is an idea of ultimate symbolism. You have to be holy their idea of holy has to do with pi. It has to do with the circle, the whole pie. So you need to be, according to them, you need to be holy to exit the dome. I know it sounds weird, but I think that this is at the core of what their symbolism is. So the gematria of Ellipse, this is a 15, which reduces to a 6. This actually has other ties that I'm only starting to understand. This 86 right here, or this 68, the 68 matches stock, matches market, matches Morgan. Morgan Freeman had problems on an 8-6 day. It was actually an 8-16 day, but it was the phi number. It was the bread of Christ number. So it would be instead of 816, it would be, instead of 618, it is 816. But the shorthand is this. Also, we have the 20. This number, when you see the 2 and the 9, this is the day after Tabernacles, but the way that they see this is that it has the 9/11 built into it, because it's the 9 and the 11, and it's a gateway. There are some Kennedy places on the Pope's itinerary, and that does match Ellipse. All right, well, this has been part 3 of the Pope's itinerary. I like to call this, or like part 3 of what are these maniacs up to. Stay tuned for part 4 of what are these maniacs up to, when we will talk about St. Matthew's Cathedral, and we'll look at that gematria. And apparently this is the mother church for the Archdiocese of Washington. It kind of gives you chills, doesn't it? All right, hope you're having a good time. Hope the humor is enough to cover the weirdness. I appreciate you being here with me. I think we need to be awake, no fear, look soberly at the signs, and then we need to be brave to speak to our brothers and sisters and, yank them out of their stupor and cause them to think. Because they're going to create some large deception here, and most people are going to be terrified into behaving, into cooperating with their church or cooperating with the government. And we may or may not be able to stop them, but I think that is supposed to be our role as awake people, to shepherd the sleepy ones. See what's going to happen, talk about it, and shepherd the sleepy ones. So anyway, good luck with that. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon.